Reacher Season 3 is even better without this character from the book. Adapted from the novels of author Lee Child, Reacher is now one of Prime Video's most successful series. With an impressive 92% on Rotten Tomatoes' Tomatometer for its debut season, the series is now on its third leg, with the latest season taking to screens last month. Season 3 has managed to outperform Reacher's first season and match the show's second season in terms of ratings, with a near-perfect 98%. Reacher Season 3 is based on Lee Child's seventh Jack Reacher novel, Persuader. While showrunner Nick Santora has chosen to deviate from the chronological order of Child's novels, he has ensured that the Prime series stays more or less faithful to the book that each season chooses to adapt. However, as with any adaptation, a certain level of creative freedom has been exercised in the Reacher series, and this remains true for Season 3. While the season, similarly to the novel, follows Reacher as he tries to take down the operation of Zachary Beck, several changes have been made in relation to both characters and events. One such change involves the wife of Zachary Beck. Reacher Season 3 does not include Zachary Beck's wife in its narrative. The series establishes that Mrs. Beck is deceased, with the death having occurred much before the events of Season 3. In the season's very first episode, Reacher visits Richard Beck in his room after having fake rescued him from being kidnapped. Walking around the room, Reacher asks Richard where his mother is, to which Richard replies, "Since I was 4, St. Sebastian's Cemetery." However, the absence of Mrs. Beck from the series does not have a significant impact on Season 3's storyline. However, her absence does affect Zachary's relationship with his son, with the father and son quite disconnected and distant from each other in the series. Speaking to The Direct and commenting on the adaptation of Persuader and the omission of Mrs. Beck from the storyline, Anthony Michael Hall said, "And I have to say, it was very true to the source material, with the exception, I think, of the omission of the character of the wife. And obviously, in an 8-episode season, you're not going to have everything in there, but I think there are large portions of the novel that are excerpts that contain Season 3 here." What is Mrs. Beck's role in the Reacher novel? The omission of Zachary Beck's wife from Reacher Season 3 does not constitute a significant loss to the series, given that the character also plays only a minor role in the narrative of the source text. In the novels, Elizabeth Beck, Zachary's wife, is primarily a woman who is trapped by circumstance. She is well aware of her husband's business and is also perceptive of the dangers it poses to her family. However, she is not in a position of influence that enables her to do anything about it. Persuader portrays Mrs. Beck as distant and oppressed. Her interactions with Reacher reveal that she is unhappy in her current life and yearns for a different path. As a mother, she is willing to take risks to protect her son. Her role in the novel works to amplify the toxic and dangerous environment that Reacher navigates in his mission at the Beck household, but does not have a further impact. As such, Season 3's decision to completely omit the character appears to be a good one, as including her in the plot would have only amounted to a minor subplot touching on the theme of family. What other character changes does Reacher Season 3 make? The changes that Reacher Season 3 makes to characters from the source text are not limited to Mrs. Beck. The series also differs in its inclusion of Frances Neagley and the formidable Polly. Frances Neagley's character, played by Maria Sten, is not a part of the original material. First introduced to viewers in Season 1, Neagley had a more predominant role in Season 2. Portrayed as one of Reacher's closest friends and colleagues from the 110th, Neagley's inclusion in Season 3 gives viewers a familiar face, while also giving Reacher a person outside his immediate circle to rely on. Speaking of Neagley's presence in Season 3 to Empire, Lee Child said, "Neagley was a strategic decision. The one thing you cannot do on screen that you can in a book is have the inside of somebody's head. Reacher thinks a lot, and there are pages and pages of Reacher puzzling things out. You can't write an 8-minute scene with Alan Ritchson sitting there thinking. So we needed a secondary character to bolster the exposition. Reacher is back, bigger, badder, and somehow better than ever. Season 3 punches harder, hits faster, and brings even more of what fans love, Jack Reacher, a trail of broken bad guys, and a mystery that unravels like a coiled spring. But this season made a bold move. It left out a major character from the book it's based on. And you know what? It works. Season 3 adapts Lee Child's novel Persuader, a fan favorite from the long-running book series. In the novel, Reacher goes undercover to infiltrate the life of a dangerous arms dealer, all while pursuing a personal vendetta linked to a long-dead enemy. It's gritty, tense, and tightly plotted, classic Reacher. But in the book, Reacher doesn't go it alone. He's backed by DEA agent Susan Duffy, a smart, capable ally who helps him navigate the murky waters of undercover work. So when fans noticed that Susan Duffy was nowhere to be found in Season 3, there was understandable skepticism. How do you remove a major supporting character from a story without the whole thing falling apart? Well, somehow, showrunner Nick Santora and the creative team didn't just keep it standing, they built something even stronger. Stripping it down to Reacher's core. Let's be real, Reacher works best when it stays focused on its namesake. The show lives and breathes by Alan Ritchson's magnetic performance, a quiet storm of muscle and moral code. Removing Duffy from the equation tightens the spotlight on Reacher himself. Without a government partner, he's fully freelance, operating in the shadows with no safety net. It's a creative decision that re-centers the narrative on what makes Reacher tick. Alone, he's more unpredictable. He's not reporting to anyone. He's making every choice based on his own code, his own instinct. And that gives us a more raw, more personal version of the character than we've seen before. Streamlined storytelling, sharper stakes. By trimming down the cast and omitting Duffy's storyline, the season moves at breakneck pace. There's no time spent establishing the bureaucratic side of things, no DEA briefings, no agency politics. Instead, the series dives headfirst into the action, letting Reacher's solo mission unfold with relentless momentum. That leanness gives the season an edge. Every scene feels urgent. Every encounter carries weight. Reacher's isolation isn't just a tactical choice, it becomes a narrative engine. We feel his vulnerability more keenly. When things go south, there's no cavalry coming. No backup. It's just Reacher, his fists, and the occasional crowbar. A modern reimagining that respects the source. Importantly, cutting Duffy isn't a dismissal of her importance in the book. It's a recalibration for television. Reacher, the show, has always taken liberties with its source material, often for the better. Season 1 swapped out certain details from Killing Floor, and Season 2 retooled bad luck and trouble with sharper stakes and an emotional through line. Season 3 continues that trend. By excising Duffy, the show doesn't weaken Persuader's core, it refines it. It reimagines the story through a leaner lens, tailor-made for serialized streaming drama. And frankly, it makes room for deeper character work, particularly when it comes to Reacher's internal struggle. Without a sidekick to banter with, Reacher becomes more introspective. We see more of the weight he carries, the scars from his past. His silence becomes louder, more loaded. It's a bold storytelling move, and Richardson rises to the occasion with a performance that's both stoic and deeply human. Sometimes, less really is more. Is Susan Duffy a great character? Absolutely. But does her absence break Season 3? Not even close. If anything, it forces the show to dig deeper into Reacher's psyche, to raise the stakes, and to deliver a tighter, tenser season. By going solo, Reacher feels more like Reacher than ever, a wandering avenger, untethered, unstoppable, and unmistakably badass. And in an era where so many adaptations try to do everything at once, Reacher Season 3 proves that